Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about the topic what is security testing and the myths around security testing. Agenda for the session will be we'll start with about the speaker, then we will discuss what is security testing and why security testing is required, some basic principles for security testing, some key terminologies that are used in a security testing project, and then we'll talk about the myths around security testing. First of all, about the speaker, I am Jitin Chadda. I am founding director at Perfeasy Enterprises Private Limited. We provide testing services to our clients across the globe, and services includes manual testing, functional testing, automation, performance, security, usability, you name it, and we have that service with us. We also believe in innovation, and only for that we have built an AI based patent pending performance testing framework which can automate all the tasks related to performance testing. So when I say automate, it is a very innovative solution where a tester has to just provide a very few inputs and he can get the scripts, the load test scripts created within minutes. The scenario gets designed dynamically depending on the results, so the algorithm is also very intelligent, which can automatically increase or decrease the user load, change the scenario based on the results of the previous test, generate a very intuitive report. So everything gets done within a few minutes to a few hours, and the effort as well as the timelines are reduced considerably for a security performance testing project. I have around 14 years of experience in performance and security testing, and a good part of it is used for building and managing testing COEs. I have worked as a technical manager as well as performance analyst in various projects and across technologies and domains: e-commerce, commerce, investment banking, insurance, and some more. I have worked on more than 140 projects. I have worked with clients like Adobe, Boston Consulting Group, BNP Paribas, CMEX Mexico, Max Life Insurance, Aon, Checkbook, Fashion and You, and a lot many. I have a few certifications as well. I have HP LoadRunner AIS certification. I am IBM certified solution designer for rational performance tester, IBM certified specialist for rational app scan and rational robo. Let's move on to today's topic. What is security testing and why security testing? Security testing is a process that determines that confidential data stays confidential. This is the most important thing, that the information related to the users, information related to the system, all the confidential information related to an organization or an individual or a process should not be exposed to a person who is not authorized to see that. It can include your phone number, it can include your email IDs, it can include the account details of an organization, it can include the registered users with a website. So anything that is confidential should stay confidential and should not be exposed to a person who is not authorized to view that details. Users should be able to perform only the tasks they are authorized. This is also a very important thing. When we say authorized to perform, um, on an e-commerce application, if I register on the portal, I should be able to look at the prices, I should be able to view the product details. but I should not be allowed to modify the prices or modify the product details or modify the size of the products, etc. So a user should not be able to change the functionality, and user should not be able to deny any functionality to other users. So it should not be possible for a user to upgrade its privileges and act as an admin to delete other users, to remove the user, or change the roles of a particular user. The user authorized to do a particular role should stay with that role, should not be able to escalate its roles. Why it is important to do security testing? Nowadays, if we see earlier, the systems used to be like desktop based systems, and a very less interaction used to happen from outside world. But nowadays everything is going online. E-commerce sites, we can see the banks all are going online, otherwise the checkbooks, etc., everything was done on paper. So there was nothing was online. So nowadays banking, investments, if you see, because of this COVID-19 and those things, nowadays the e-learning has also become very popular. So every vital business is going online now. So everyone has to go online, has to have an online presence. This increases the exposure also. So more you are exposed to the outside world, more are the chances that someone may be able to hack into the system, may be able to steal your data. So that is why it is very important to get the security testing done. Another point is, with the increase in exposure and the reach to the multiple people, the transactions are also increasing. So continuity or availability is also a very important thing. So there can be a situation where a hacker or a competitor just like puts a lot of load onto your server and overwhelms your server to stop your. So this could have been prevented if we had got the security testing done and identified how the a user will be able to overload your server, and we could have added proper rules as well as proper stoppers to make sure that those things do not happen in real life. So this is where availability and saving your data, securing the data is the most important thing. Why security testing should be performed by everyone and for every type of application. Some thoughts. Just please give it a thought, like what would happen if an e-commerce application is hacked. If it is hacked, it would lose a lot of data of the users that are registered. The hackers may get the information about those user and their buying pattern, like what kind of things they buy, what time they buy. So those kind of data will get exposed, and the e-commerce site, and they may also buy the products or change the prices, etc. Hacker can do that, and may cause a lot of financial loss to the e-commerce business as well. So the owners would may lose a lot of money, as well as the customers will lose. What happens in a banking application? For example, a mobile app for a bank gets hacked. First and foremost thing they will lose is the reputation. Everyone will start fearing. Once people will come to know that their data was stolen, that the application was hacked, and bank is a very sensitive thing. But people save their hard-earned money, their savings are there in the bank. So banks are very sensitive to people. So if people see that this bank is vulnerable and someone can just hack in and cause some problem into their bank accounts, everyone will start taking their money out. They will start closing their accounts. No one will want to have an account with that bank which the application was hacked. So reputation as well as financial loss. Reputation ultimately leads to financial loss, but reputation and financial loss is are the two most important thing. that impacts if a security hack happens. There was a study done by KPMG, and they found out that around 19% of the consumer will completely stop going to a retailer in case a breach happens to a retailer. And even if they come back, so more than half, around 52%, would wait for more than 3 months to an year before just even like going to that application, looking at that application which was hacked 3 months or about 1 year back. So see the kind of reputation and the financial loss that the owners of those applications that were hacked would face. Let's talk about some basic principles of security testing. First and foremost is the confidentiality. The data, as we discussed in the last slide as well, most important thing is the data, the information related to the organization, user credentials, email IDs, phone numbers, medical records, everything should be secret. The confidential information should not be exposed to anyone outside. Second is integrity. This is also a very important thing from a security perspective. The data should be consistent, accurate, and trustworthy over its entire life cycle. For example, if I transfer uh, money from my account to my friend's account, the transaction should be consistent, accurate, and trustworthy. If I am transferring $500, then exact $500 should get deducted from my account, and correct exact $500 should get credited to the account of the receiver. These transactions should be consistent and accurate. If I send an email or if I transfer a file over an FTP or a messenger or a data sharing app. So if I am transferring a file, the complete file should get transferred from point A to point B. Correct data should be there, and it should be trustworthy that yes, there was no manipulation that happened when I send the data from point A to point B. So integrity is also a very important principle. Next is authorization. Authorization is about what kind of roles or what kind of activities that a particular user can have. So this is like type of users. An admin would have very high or a lot of functionalities. A super admin may be able to delete even admins. A normal user would be able to view and may not be able to edit a lot of things. So depending on the type of user, authorization should be given very properly, and the user role should be defined properly. Then comes authentication. This authorization and authentication are very similar and very closely bound. Authorization is about what are the transactions, what are the activities, what are the functionalities I can access, while authentication is about, I would say in a simple terms, it is about logging into the application. If I have proper credentials, if I have proper sessions, then only I should be able to log in or access the application, access a particular screen. So if I am trying to access a particular functionality, it would be defined by my user role. But am I able to log into the application? Am I able to access the application? This is restricted by the authentication. So we should always have proper authentication mechanism. Authentication mechanism includes the logins, the captchas, those session validations, security keys are there. So there are multiple things for making sure that only the authorized person is able to log in and access the data. Fifth one is availability. As we have like briefly discussed in last slide also, availability is very important for an e-commerce application, for a banking application, for insurance. Everyone has to be available 24 by 7, 365 days a year, because online means that everyone can be should be able to access this anytime. So in case my application goes down and my there is downtime in my application, I may lose my customers. The customers would go to my uh, competitors, and they may I may lose the business. So availability is very important, and a hacker may or a competitor may do some malicious thing into my servers and may cause some downtimes, or it can maybe because of some virus or something that my server went down and there is a downtime due to which my users are not able to access the application, and they are moving to my competitors. Non-repetition, this is most or very important for nowadays the online transactions. Why this is important? Because non-repetition means that no one should be able to deny or contest that I have performed a particular activity. For example, uh, if I send an email, I should not be able to, or I should not have any loophole that the sender can deny that he has sent that email, or receiver can deny that he has received that email. So it is very important to make sure that the transactions done by person 1 to person 2 should be non-repetition, non-contestable. If it is done, it should be agreed upon and it should be there, and it should not be contestable, or no one should be able to deny that that particular transaction has happened. So email tracking is one of the things where no one will be able to deny, not even the sender cannot deny that I haven't sent that email, and the recipient should not be able to deny that he has received a particular email. Let's talk about some key terminologies in security testing project. Vulnerability is a very important thing, and when we do a security testing activity, vulnerabilities are what we identify. So these are the weaknesses or bugs in the application. So there can be some field that is vulnerable to SQL injection, a screen that is vulnerable to, or a URL that is vulnerable to cross-site scripting. So these are the entry points for a hacker, using which it can vulnerable entry points using which a user or a hacker will be able to get into the application, get into the network. So vulnerability is the weakness in the application, network, or any other component. URL manipulation. When we say URL, this is more about web application, mobile application, even in other Citrix and some application as well. So we manipulate the URL. If we talk about a web application, we have seen that there is some domain name, then there is path, then there is question mark. After that, many a times the application sends some data onto the URL itself. This is also called as query string. So we can manipulate these URLs, we can try to access the configuration files, we can try to hit the operating systems by command, by sending the command injections, etc. So these are URL manipulation, using which we try to hack into the application, we try to get the configurations files, the server settings, the try to reach to the Windows or the Linux systems, those places using command injection, SQL queries, cross-site scripting. So URL manipulation is a very important tool, I would say, to identify security flaws. SQL injection. This is a very well known and a very popular term used for a security testing. whenever if someone talks, so it would about security, you will identify SQL injections cross-site. Those things are very popular. SQL injection is when we try to insert a SQL query, a modified SQL query, and try to capture or try to fetch the hit the database and fetch some database entries. We may try to fetch, we may try to delete, we may update the data, so or we may bypass the authentication mechanism. We may be able to, with using a modified SQL query or SQL injection attack, we may be able to log into an application without having user ID and password with us. So this is called as SQL query. So SQL injections. So we modify the SQL queries to break into the system, hit the database. We may get some error messages which may give us some information related to the type of database, and we can create better test cases to fetch, delete, update, or log into the system to get some information. Another popular thing is cross-site scripting, XSS. Here, in place of SQL statements, we try to insert HTML code or a JavaScript code or some client-side scripting language to try to break into the system, try to share or try to show like incorrect pop-ups, etc. These may wrong information may lead a person to a hacked website, and it may cause a redirection or something. So cross-site scripting is also a very important issue that is very popular and found out. But nowadays, with the uh, betterment in the technology, or I would say the improvement done in the browsers, this is very hard to find issue. It has become nowadays the cross-site scripting. Spoofing. What is spoofing? You must have heard about spoofing, that the application was spoofed. So what we do, or a hacker would do, he would create a very similar looking or will uh, exactly same looking web pages. I will give you an example of a bank. Let's say bank one at site is bank1.com. So the hacker would buy a domain where there will be very small difference in the spelling, bank1.com. So normal users may not be very aware, or he may not be very attentive to the URL. So he may like search bank1.com, and it shows me bank1, which is the spoofed site. First link comes in that, and the person clicks on that. So it would have a login page. The user will enter username, password, and this spoofed site. So a very simple thing how he can, or a hacker can capture your sensitive data or the login credential. I understand this scenario. So here person was accidentally moved to website, this spoofed website. One accident can be the URL is similar, so person goes himself to that site. There can be other option where a SMS message comes in that you have to, your account is expiring, so please you have to just log in once to make sure that your account is still activated, or we want to verify your credentials, or we want to verify your account details once more. It is expiring, so those kind of messages to come in, and there is a link to, very similar link to the original site, and when the person clicks on that, he looks at the same website. So the screen is exactly same as the original site. So it is very hard to identify that this application is spoofed one. So the person, what would person do? He will log into like by giving his proper credentials, his username, password. So now to make sure that the user is doesn't know about something bad has happened to him, what he will do, this spoofed website will do, he will give a message that you have entered a incorrect username, password, please try again, and it would redirect itself to the original site now. because the user has already given their username and password. These will be saved on my spoofed website, and now the person will try again. This happens whenever we write. If I get my incorrect username password, so I do try again. Maybe I have missed to enter the capital caps value or the special character or something I may have missed. So I will try again. Now I will try on the real application. I will get logged in. I would not even know that I went to a spoofed website, and now some hacker has my user and credential for this application. So spoofing is this: creating a hoax which may cause an unattentive user to share his information, share his details to a hacker. Now let's move on to the myths. First myth is, a small business owners think that we do not need any security policies because we are very small. Why we would need to have the security policies? But this is very wrong. Yes, it would depend on, as you are small business, so it makes sense that to our business will always think about saving money. So it is very important to at least have proper configurations done from the um, uh, firewalls, antivirus, the servers are updated. So those kind of policies, the backup policies, etc., should be there, so that hacking is not possible even for a small business. If they lose some data or they lose, so the business may get shut down. The bigger players may be able to do some PR, and they may come back with the better reputation. But in case of small business, it becomes very difficult. If they lose the reputation, it would become very difficult for them to come back. So they should have the security policies to make sure that they prevent any hacking attempt onto their applications, mobile apps, whatever things are exposed to the outside world. Another myth is that there is no return on investment, ROI, in security testing. Business always thinks about ROI. Before spending any money, is there anything that I am going to get back? What is the value we are going to get? So we need to understand what is the value of getting a security testing activity done. How security testing helps? It is more of an airbag in a car. Let's see. So how? Uh, Airbag is used only once. What is the ROI? I have an airbag. If I get a car with an airbag, or if I do not have an airbag in my car, how it helps? It was never used in the last car that I bought, and it may not be required even in the car that I am trying to buy now. Why not I save money? I ask them to take out that airbag, or I buy a lower version of the car without the airbag. It would save me money. No. So here the airbag will be used once only, but when it would be used, it would save someone's life. Similarly, the security testing may not bear you fruit, but it is saving you from getting hacked. It is saving you from losing reputation. It is saving you from losing the business. If you do not have the security features in play in built into your application, your network, your assets, you may lose a lot of money. You may completely lose your business if a hacking attempt happens. It also improves the efficiency, and it reduces the downtime. As we were discussing in the previous slide, the downtime or the availability is a most important thing from an online available applications. So it reduces downtime, it increases the efficiency, so and it prevents us to save reputation, save business. Another myth is from business perspective, we have already put in very strong antivirus, very good firewalls. The configurations on the firewalls are there, so uh, we do not need to test the application test security. This is also a myth, and the truth is, if there is any application deployed on your hardware, if it is working on, let's say, HTTP protocol, the port number 80 is open. If it works on HTTPS protocol, so you have to open port number 443, 443. So there is always whenever you add some application, whenever you add a component, you add something, there is one window that's get another one window that's get opened, from where hacker can get into your system, and once it is able to intrude into your system, it can reach. So when it has already entered, so these firewalls, these antivirus are already bypassed. So once I am onto your mobile device or your device, your one of the servers, I can bypass or all these security features, and I can spread my virus, spread my issue, spread my problem into all your machines that are connected into that system. So only antivirus firewalls would not help. We should definitely get our application tested, and we make sure that application also has proper security features inbuilt into the application. Fourth one is that you just need to buy a automatic security testing tool, run a scan, and fix those issues. Your application will become very secure. Your network, application, everything will get secured. Just you need a tool. This is also not completely correct. Yes, the tools do share a lot of information about the vulnerabilities, and they do cover a lot of things. But the logical flaws, like for example, if I try to buy a mobile, I try to buy a low like 16 GB. There are two versions of a mobile device. One has 16 GB memory, and another was has 64 GB memory. So a hacker may be able to manipulate my request and buy a 64 GB mobile device by paying only for 16 GB device. So these kind of flaws we may be able to like reduce the price of another product that I am buying. So those kind of things should uh, not happen into my application, and for this you need a mind. You need a person who can think dynamically and create these kind of scenarios. The tool have limited, although yes, with the invent of artificial intelligence, machine learning, these things are really improving, but at this stage this is still not possible for any of the tool to properly perform these kind of logical scenarios and identify all the issues. So here you definitely need a manual auditor who can properly do a security testing scan. He would also need a tool, yes, but for logical flaws you need a dynamic mind. I hope we were very we have used a simple language, as well as it was easy to understand about the security testing and the myths and the different topics that we started with why and what is security testing. Then we took two examples about if a hack happens on an e-commerce site and a bank, how would they impact. Then we spoke about uh, the main principles, basic principles of the security testing. Then we spoke about the different terminologies that are used in security testing. Those are some common terminologies. And then we moved on to the myths around the security testing activities from the perspective of business, testers, etc. We would be happy to answer your queries. Please ask whatever queries you have. We will be happy to answer. Thank you.